These two characters, they hang out every Friday night together. They've been friends for years. Michael is gay, Kate is straight. Kate just got married to this guy, Danny, like relatively recently, that Michael isn't so sure about. You have these two characters who are so close to each other and understand each other better than anyone else in the world, and their relationships with other people start to sort of threaten that.
I think with Kate, her arc is a little bit more internal. I think she's a different person at work, she's a different person with Danny, and she's a different person with Michael. And now she's trying to somehow mesh all of those differences together.
When we first meet Michael, he's like at a very low point in his life. He's up in his game professionally, but he hits a low point in his life when his fiance or ex-fiance and him go through a really rough patch, and he ends up breaking up.
Hey. You haven't been answering my text. What was I supposed to do? Michael!
In TV and film, deaf characters, like when they're introduced, for example, it's because they're deaf. We were thinking like, we want to tell the story first and then find ways in which we can insert aspects of the deaf experience into the story after the fact, but the story always comes first.
We worked on other things. We were writing other things, and we were trying to maybe unconsciously write what we thought the industry, so to speak, the powers that be, wanted to see. And then we hit so many walls, and then we thought, okay, hold on, why don't we write something that feels like it's us?
Have you always been deaf? If that was too personal, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay, and action. Basically, I walked into this knowing nothing about deaf culture. And like up until the last day of shooting, I was still like having these like, oh duh moments, you know, like at one point I had like selected a clutch for Kate to use at a wedding. And she looked at it and she was like, deaf people do not use clutches. And I was like, duh, you have to keep your hands free. You can't talk if you're holding a clutch.
There's that scary moment that I like to call the ocean. I start to sign and I can see the look in hearing people's eyes. They're like, what is this person saying? He's moving his hands. And then I think, I hope the interpreter is going to understand what I'm saying.
We had an ASL master translator who was Josh Castile. He worked with both the deaf actors and the hearing actors who needed to sign a little in advance of shooting.
My role is simply just to make sure that every sign made on set is making sense. So really, it's kind of cool to be able to pick the moment for a hearing actor to start using sign language. So once the actor decides that, I try to match the language with their decision as well as the director's intent as well.
We talked a lot about Ryan as being someone who's in a relationship who hasn't bothered to really learn that much of the language. Some signs are correct, and then the other stuff is kind of like pantomime stuff, where it's like, over here, let's talk about stuff. We called it douchebag sign language.
What? I can't hear you. Hey! Sorry.
First time that Shoshana and I hung out, we went and got lunch to chat about character stuff. The thing that I was trying to figure out was like, oh wow, I actually have to change my entire energy when I'm with her. She's respecting me and I'm respecting her. We're figuring out the kind of like variables of our connection.
What? What?
I've worked with many other hearing crews throughout the world, and I usually am the only deaf person working on set. I felt like everybody was really inclusive. Communication was much more easy, and I thought that was really nice, and I wish I could have that experience every day. I think the challenge is, like, we really don't have a precedent. It was like going into this frontier land, so to speak, with the forest and the hills, and we had to forage our way through. Hacking our way through. Creating this show, we hope that we create precedent. Something that is here now that wasn't here before.